Now, the Development Bank of Southern Africa's, or rather the Bank of Southern Africa Development, has assets that are projected to grow from 47.1 billion rand in the 2011-2012 period to 91 billion rand by 2016-2017. The bank will also increase its annual disbursements from the current levels of around 9 billion to around 19 billion by 2016-2017. Joining us now to discuss the bank's new strategy is Patrick Dlaminin. He's the CEO of the Development Bank of Southern Africa. Mr. Dlaminin, thank you so much for joining us. You have quite an ambitious, rollout in a very tough global and domestic climate. How do you? It's said here that you are projecting that your assets will grow from 47.1 billion to 91 billion by 2017. How are you planning to do this in this tough climate?
Thank you very much, Karema, for having me. It is indeed quite an aggressive ambition, but we strongly believe that actually it is achievable.
How is it achievable? I mean, you are looking at, for example, seeking to retain your presence in the metro market. Now, we know that metropolitans or municipalities in South Africa is under severe stress. Are you sure that you're not going to be exposed, in a crisis situation that you can't necessarily recover from?
It's quite an interesting one in actual fact, because in the metro space is our traditional competitive land space, scape actually that we've been quite involved in. And we have been able to forge very sound and lasting relationships that we want to be able to capitalize on, as well as having the requisite skills and know-how actually for that market. We do strongly believe that actually with us repositioning ourselves to go much more aggressively on both the metros as well as the least resource municipalities like the M2s and M3s, that's what we call them, the Market 2 and the Market 3s. We believe that actually there is a huge opportunity still in that space, that we can be successful in growing our share in that space and be able actually to impact on the development within the South African space.
Explain to me how you're going to do that, given the kind of capacity deficits that we have in particularly poorly resourced municipalities.
We have actually realized that the poorly resourced municipalities do need a much more deeper assistance than the metros. So as a result, we are busy actually recapacitating ourselves, repositioning ourselves in such a way that we are in a position to work very closely with the least resource metros, the municipalities, by actually ensuring that we handhold them at the pre-feasibility stage as well as the post-finance stage. And we believe that actually in the next 5 years, we would definitely be talking a completely different ball game.
Well, you're very optimistic. Let's shift gears and go to the region. Obviously, the DBSA is also looking to extend its presence not just in South Africa, but also in the SADC region and on the African continent. How are you planning to do this? I know that SADC has approved the 550 billion, rollout in terms of infrastructure. Is that something that you want to tag yourself onto?
We want to play a much more critical role in the infrastructure space, both within South Africa as well as within SADC and the rest of the continent. There are huge opportunities, and we have realized that as a DFI, and a DFI that was positioned to play its role within the SADC space, we want to make sure that we're able actually to step up to the plate and make sure that we deliver in terms of the infrastructure funding within SADC as well as actually beyond SADC. You also do know that actually the World Bank actually have said there is about 93 billion rand funding requirement per annum for sub-Saharan Africa on infrastructure. And we want to make sure that we are able to come to the party and help sub-Saharan Africa to realize the goals in terms of the infrastructure.